Alright, this is for those that don't understand the policies part of the project. When you open your Sophos Firewall, you first go to Rules and Policies. You click on it, then under Rules and Policies, you see some firewall rules there. That's the default that came with the Sophos. It's going to take some time to load. Okay, this first one here, it says default network policy. Let me show you what's inside. You click on it, then you go to edit. As you can see, default network policy is the name. The source zone is LAN, which is that's the origin of whatever traffic that you want to send. That's you are sending traffic from your local area network, which is your host only, to the bridge. It's this bridge that now connects to the internet. You understand? Because this LAN does not have internet access, it's isolated. So that's why this default network policy is needed to enable the LAN network access the internet. So the source zone will be LAN, while the destination zone will be WAN, which is wide area network. That's your bridge network. So that's just the only thing you need to set here. The source networks and devices is any, destination networks any, services any. If you wanted to restrict the services that can be accessed through this, you can do it here. Either you want to use SMTP, HTTP, UDP, or TCP, or some other services here. Yes, HTTP and HTTPS. So any means all these types. All right. Let's go to the next part, which is maybe we want to set a web policy whereby someone will not be able to access social media, gambling sites, or which other one, adult content. That's anything that contains nudity. So we'll go to web now. Let's cancel this first. Since it's the default, we don't need to set it again. You can go to web. We are going to create our own web policy, although there are some defaults that come with it also, but let's just create our own and tailor it to our specifications. All right, this is a default workplace policy. If you open it, let's go to edit, click on the pencil. You see some preset um, rules that are under this workplace policy, like risky downloads, suspicious, nudity, and adult content. You can see all of them. Okay, it's still loading here. Weapons, phishing and fraud, militancy extremists. So all these are the defaults that came with Sophos. We can actually use this workplace policy and create a firewall rule here. So when we create a new firewall rule, we apply this policy to it. I'll show you how to do that in a bit. So let's add a new policy. We don't want to use this default workplace policy. We can click on add a new policy, then let's just call it block social, if I can type correctly, gambling and adults. So in this description we can just say block access to social media, gambling, adult content. Alright, this default action, don't touch it. We are not going to touch that. What we are going to do, we are going to click on add rule. This rule, the default will say all web traffic, but we don't want all web traffic to be restricted. Under this action, you can determine if you want to block, allow, warn. So for us, we want to block, so we just leave it at the default. Then we are going to remove this all web traffic and add a new item. Then we select games and gambling, um, nudity and adult content. I think there's social media here. Where are you? Where are you? Can't find social media. Okay, there's no social media here. Since it's not here, we can click on add. We create our own social media, or rather we say block social media, and we'll add a new item. Now I think we can find social media here. Okay, social networking, that's fine. We save it. Alright, we'll add a new item. We've already added this block social media rule, or not the rule actually, the activity. Next, we are going to click on adult content again, apply. Then we add um, games and gambling. Then we apply. So we are done with this. We are going to click on this status so that it will be turned on. If it's off, it's not going to work. Now, this action is blocked. So anybody that tries to access a social media platform like Facebook or Twitter will be blocked. If you try to access gambling websites like SportyBet, you'll be blocked. If you try to access adult and nudity websites, you'll be blocked. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to save it. It's this web policy that we just created that we are going to apply to a new rule that we'll create in just a bit. It's going to take a little time to apply, so just wait. It's taking longer than I expected. Let me just pause it so the video is not too long. Okay, we are back. As you can see, it says add this policy to a firewall rule. Since we've not created the firewall rule yet, we are going to skip this step. We are going to skip it for now. Then go back to rules and policies. Alright, under these rules and policies, we'll add a new firewall rule because these are the defaults. Then we click on new firewall rule. We enter the name of what we want. Let's just say, okay, I already have one here. Block social media, gambling, and adult content. You can just put a comma instead, it doesn't really matter. So you leave this action as accept. Then the description, we don't really need that. The rule position, you change it to top because the golden rule is whatever you are blocking will be at the top because the firewall checks the rules from top to bottom. So whatever you are blocking will be at the top and whatever you are allowing will be at the bottom. So the default that came with it, those default network policy that will allow the LAN access the WAN, we are going to leave that at the bottom while we put this at the top so that it blocks it before the default rule applies. So the source zone will also be LAN, which is your host only network. We leave this at any. Destination zone is WAN, which is your bridge network. These destination networks, leave it at any. Then these services, since it's a web filtering policy that we want to apply to this rule, we can remove it from any and set it to only HTTP and HTTPS, and we apply. Under web filtering, here is the most important part. This is where we are going to apply that web policy that we initially created. If you click on this down arrow, you can see this is the web policy we created and it's at the bottom. So you just click it. You can click on this scan HTTP and decrypted HTTPS. Then you save. That's just it. Or you said enter a valid value for rule name. Okay, I guess comma is not accepted. So let's go back to the slash. Or instead of the slash, we can just use this instead. Sorry. Okay, now let's save. It should work now. Okay, you see that it will add. All right, you can see it's at the top. The reason we are going to leave this at the top is I already explained before. The firewall, it scans the firewall rules from top to bottom. So this is just a default. This is what is going to apply first. But in case this rule is not available there or something went wrong, it will go to the default, which will allow all internet access without restrictions. You understand? So we've already created our first firewall rule and policy, which is this one. The man actually said at least two firewall rules, so I'm just going to do another one. Let's go to applications. So under this application, we are going to this application rules. You can't create your own. You have to use the default that the firewall comes with. For this type of firewall, I don't know if it's because it's the free trial version, but you can't create application rule. Let me show you. If you click add, you see that it shows nothing else, only the name. Understand? You can't add any activity that you want to block here, so it's not going to work. So we're just going to use this default. The default here is block filter avoidance apps, block general unwanted apps, block high risk apps, block peer-to-peer networking apps. So we are going to use this peer-to-peer networking apps. I don't Let me check if it's on. Okay, the action is deny. Cancel. Now we are going to go back to I just open this one to show you the um, application filter that is available. So we are going to go back to rules and policies now, and we are going to create another firewall rule. We say add new firewall rule. This one we are going to call it block P2P apps. the source zone will be LAN again, while the this will be any. Destination network will be one. Apply. Services, just leave it at any. Web filtering, we'll leave that because now I want to do application filter instead. So you scroll down to other security features. As you can see, there's identity and control applications, which is app control. You click on this arrow, then you click on block peer-to-peer networking apps, and then you save. Oh, I think I forgot to change this to top, but it doesn't really matter. We can also change it after creating it. You can change the position. I'll show you how to do that also. All right. It's going to save now. I think it's going to be at the bottom because of that rule that we didn't change. Okay, it's at the bottom, but we can change it to the top. Let's put it in the number 2 position. So we click on this, go to move to the position. We'll just enter the number that we want, which is 2, and click enter. Did that work? Don't think so. Okay, enter, move rule. To go to number 2 now. See, it's at the number 2 position. So these are just the two policies and rules, not actually policy, but the rules that we created. The application filter and the web policy, those are actually the policies. We've applied it to the rules now. So these two rules are going to be on top this default network policy. Okay, it's actually a policy as well. So these two will be at the top, these other ones will be at the bottom. So when you try to access a website on maybe your Kali machine that is on the same network. After this, I'm also going to create a separate video to show you how to test these rules that we just created on Kali. So I'm going to stop this video here so that it's not too long. It's 18 minutes.